This conference will now be recorded.
All right. Like to, the time being 4:48, I'd like to call the meeting of April 8th, 2021 to order. Before we get started, if you are joining us virtually, please mute your microphone during the meeting unless you want to speak. Otherwise, background noise will interfere with the meeting. Because space is limited due to social distancing requirements, we are providing access to the meeting via telephone and the GoToMeeting platform. Members of the public wishing to attend this meeting via phone may call the following conference call number at 1-866-899-4679. Access code 817-026-717. Members of the public wishing to use the GoToMeeting platform may access the meeting remotely using your smartphone, tablet, or computer at global.gotomeet.me/town-of-Tilton/Selectmen. This information can also be found on our website at tiltonnh.org under Meeting Schedules and Agendas, Board of Selectmen. We all stand and give the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll bring the minutes of April 1st to the floor for discussion. The only thing I would suggest is, like, I see your microphone, John's microphone, Scott's microphone are all red. So if you read the minutes a couple times throughout the minutes that it was inaudible, I think that's because people may have had their microphone accidentally off. So I'm not sure, I'm just looking at you.
Well,
You're there.
Also, Gail did ask, and you'll see from the minutes that she couldn't hear sometimes, to speak into the microphone. She said she could hear Eric and Pat well, and Scott, I think it was Joe and John, you need to lean forward when you speak. And she said if you could take off your mask, that's helpful too.
Any changes? No. Make a motion to approve the minutes of April 1st as written.
Second?
Second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Oh, let's see. The time being 4:51 p.m., I'd like to make a motion to move into non-public per RSA 91-A:3, Roman numeral 2C, matters which if discussed in public would likely adversely affect the reputation of any person other than a member of this board unless such person requests an open meeting. This exemption shall extend to include any application for assistance or tax abatement or waiver of a fee, fine, or other levy, if based on inability to pay or poverty of the applicant. We expect to be back into public session at approximately 6 p.m. Do I have a second?
Constantino, second.
Roll call vote.
Constantino, yes.
Jessamine, yes.
Ira, yes.
Ruggles, yes. Scanlon, yes.
All right. We are in non-public session.
This conference will now be recorded.
All right, I'll make a motion to seal the minutes of the non-public meeting of April 8th, 2021, because the reasons justifying the need for the non-public session still remain.
Second.
All those in favor say, or is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Motion passes. Next up, Finance IT Director, Tim Pearson with a finance update.
Well,
All right, Tim, thanks for giving it along.
sure, I will. Can you all hear me all right? Good. All
You
right.
make sure you can be heard by our transcriber.
I'm trying to make sure I've got this in the right location. So in your packets tonight, you had a memo from me regarding the budget map and encumbrances and town meeting changes. And essentially, it's my annual reconciliation of how we get from the warrant article that's approved to the authorized expenditure budget that you have available to you in 2021. So I won't take you through all the nitty gritty of it, but essentially there are two major portions because we haven't done any budget transfers. So the changes that were made at town meeting, adding money to the town clerk tax collector's salary and reducing money from the officers' wages, those were reflected. And then also I've listed out the encumbrances we had and where those went in the budget. So the total budget, the total authorized expenditure budget is $5,340,149. And the
Oh,
wow, it's right.
that's all you're going to hear in the recording.
I thought that was in my head. So in any event, so that is the total authorized budget. And I've just given you the snapshot of where we are year to date for expenditures. There's a lot of work I still have to do in this area before the reports come out next week. But essentially, you can see where we are year to date. And so we're under, say, the average for the year. But as I said, you'll be getting more detailed reports starting next week. The Budget Committee has their first organizational meeting next Wednesday, and they'll also be receiving the reports for that meeting should they choose to review them. So this map is really, if somebody says, well, how did the budget get to be that? Well, this is how it went from that town meeting warrant article and the number that was announced at town meeting to this figure here. And the good part about the encumbrances is that that money is not raised and appropriated. So it's money that was either contracted or encumbered, in other words, accounted for in 2020 and carried over into 2021 for specific purposes. So other than that, in your sign now, there are three really important documents, two of which have to do with borrowing. And you may have seen the bond documents that I sent out earlier this week when I received them from our bond counsel. We're anticipating next Thursday that we'll have the signing for the bond, and that the following Tuesday, once the documents are exchanged, will be the official closing for the bond. The one change I'm going to have to make is there are still some unresolved estimates that we're waiting for from Milestone and also a couple of ours that put us just too close in flux to that $4.1 million value. So we're actually going to increase that to 4.15 million, so 4,150,000. And that will allow us, at such time that we complete the project, we can take any monies left over and pay it down. There's about a $20,000 to $25,000 range that's sort of in flux, and we could either be under by 5,000 or over by 20. And it's already caused me some restless nights. So I'd prefer that we just up it a little bit more right now, and then we can pay down any remaining monies. And it also gives you some additional flexibility if there are things through this year, through the end of the year, that we find that have to be rectified. If we're too tight on the budget, then we won't have anything to be able to access and make those changes with. So in any event, so the two borrowing documents I mentioned, and also there's a request to the trustees of the town of Tilton to remit the funds that were the donated funds. That's also in the Sign Now app. And there's $74,771 and change available, and that will all be reconciled along with the $290,000 that was voted on at town meeting as part of that final reconciliation to get to the bond principal. Other than that, just to keep it brief, there's a couple of other things that are going on right now in town hall. We're going to be cutting over the network to the new network that's connected to the PD. This is our big weekend of cutover. We've been waiting for the state to issue a VPN for motor vehicles. So we had one set up with our old system, and we've had to maintain that. But we're going to be testing the VPN tomorrow and providing that works well for motor vehicles. Saturday will be the cutover. We'll be working on that all day, along with a few things here. And then we're also hoping by April 15th, we'll have our new phones installed there as well. And as you may have seen in my office, I have one of the extensions off of the system that's here. And so all the town hall extensions will still be the same. Phone numbers into the town hall phone numbers will ring in town hall, but we're also extensions between the police and town hall, which has really been very nice. So it means a lot less calls in through dispatch when we're needed to speak to somebody in the PD. Other than that,
Fix the issue, the truncated issue?
I'm sorry.
Will that fix the busy signal that you get?
Yes,
coming in?
yeah, that's all. Yeah, and unfortunately, we have been mired in a battle of 4 different entities that has come down to an issue of resold lines that were from originally when we signed with Bayring, which were at that point Fairpoint lines. Some of them were Fairpoint lines, then some became consolidated lines. And these are all the town hall lines. And then Bayring was sold to First Light. So of these entities that we're dealing with, there's supposed to be an automated process for porting the numbers. And that's been the holdup because we've escalated it. We've gone through great lengths to try to free this up, but there's been a lot of finger pointing. And I think we finally had a breakthrough, but it's just been, very challenging to deal with some of these things that you would think would be very simple, but end up being less so. In any event, other than that, the AP sitting on my desk will be coming to you in the next few days. It just depends on the work tomorrow and Saturday on the network and how far we get. So, but you should be seeing it by Monday, certainly. Other than that, that's all I have for you, unless you have any questions for me.
Any questions for Tim? No. All right. Thank you, Tim.
Okay, just please sign those documents because we are really needing the money right now. Thank you.
You. Oh, Selectmen reports. Start with Miss Pat.
Here's a first. I defer mine to the town administrator because she has a long list.
Okay. Next on the list, Scott Ruggles.
So Jeannie had sent out an email earlier this week where she and I had a talk. And so my one piece that I'm bringing is just thinking about the internal investigation training, because the two folks at the PD who were trained in that are now not here. So the question now becomes, I think, how should we go forward with it? Should it be something where, as I was brainstorming with her a little bit, where maybe even the whole staff is trained in it so that they all have a knowledge of how it goes and how it's working. But just the question about this investigation training and being able to have it in hand, because there's no one with it in the PD right now.
Any thoughts?
I have a lot of them, but I think that may be in a non-public session. But yes, you're right. I agree with it.
So is that something we can put for next week? Okay, thank you. Anything else, Scott?
Yep.
discuss that or?
Would next week in non-public?
No, I'm all set.
Okay,
But
Thank
it's something to bring up. Absolutely.
absolutely. Joe Jessman.
There was a meeting of the Old Home Day Committee last night, and they've decided not to request the $3,000 that we budgeted because they decided they weren't going to have Old Home Day officially, and Northfield won't contribute money to the fireworks, so our money doesn't put on the fireworks. It takes both towns. So there'll be no fireworks. There'll be no parade. There'll be no Old Home Day.
Wow.
Sad, but there you go. The second thing is that Kevin Duval and I went out today with gear and equipment and the road file for Bitter and Lane, all the associated deeds. And we have a 50-foot right of way extending from Route 3, 133 feet is what it measures, to pins and posts, which we located in place, which basically sit on the property line of Agway. Everything beyond Agway is MB Tractor. I always thought that it went all the way up to an old fence gate that was there. No, according to, I'm not a surveyor. Kevin's not a surveyor. Neither one of us are lawyers. But following the plans, the several sets of plans that we had, that is what we own. We have a 50-foot right of way. The road is 25 feet wide and sits as you enter Bitter and Lane. The road sits on the left-hand side of the right of way. So the edge of pavement is the edge of our right of way on the left. On the right, there's a spot just past the guardrail where you could park 2 or 3 cars. And it even says to be right on the plan to be conveyed to the town of Tilton. I have not located that in the that easement in the deed, but there's a lot of deed there, and I haven't gotten very far on that. But it's marked on the map. There's a general easement for the property beyond that. That puts about 10, 12 feet. We didn't measure this, but 10, 12 feet between the edge of our easement and the pond itself. So there's still a strip of grass in there that people would have to cross, but it's under the general easement. Again, the language of which I do not know, but we don't have anything beyond 133 feet.
One thing to consider is at the entrance to that late last fall, I believe they widened that as per their site plan. So if you look for a cut of the pavement, whatever that width is, and the sidewalk and the guardrail was
50
widened.
feet.
No, I know, but the entrance to the road is a lot wider.
I understand.
So
50 feet of it belongs to us.
no, but you had said something about you couldn't find a pin on the other side. So
No, we did. We found a post
okay.
and we found a pin actually in the asphalt. That was obviously the marker pin. And now it's circled with a white paint. If you're over there and you're wondering, between Route 3 and that white paint is what we're responsible for fixing and what have you. The easement that runs for the water company runs partly on our easement. But anything beyond that 133 feet has nothing to do with the town of Tilton specifically.
All right.
That's our take on it. And if we need to get lawyers and stuff involved
No.
beyond this, I don't see any reason why. I mean, the pin is there, the post is there, and certainly in evidence. So we're only responsible for the 50-foot wide section down in.
Thank you, Joe.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else?
Oh, No, that's it for me.
Okay. Yeah,
Correct myself on this one. It- To Scott's point, when we were talking about the training, that does not have to be in non-public. I just want to correct myself on that. But we wouldn't go into the entire personnel. But to his point, getting sergeants trained in that would, so it wouldn't need to be in, if you want to bring it back up for Scott's point,
okay.
it doesn't need to be in non-public.
So we'll bring it back up.
Rethinking it, sorry.
So, I mean, just in a basic sense, I think we need to think about who we should get trained in terms of the internal investigation piece, because we don't want to get stuck with a spot where if there's an issue that arises, that we don't have anyone who's capable or able or trained to do it. So,
It would normally go, if we were in that spot, it would normally go to either county or state. However, we should get at least the sergeants trained immediately, to my point.
Okay.
My opinion, anyway. John had something.
John? No, discussing this. Do we have to should we make a,
So if you agree, I'll ask Eric. I think I provided you all a copy of that documentation, but I'm not qualified to teach that, and I haven't actually gone through it either. So I think it would be Eric with the 3 sergeants.
Perhaps maybe you could sit in on it and just.
I'm thinking,
yeah,
so
yeah.
yeah.
okay.
Good.
Thanks, Pat.
Thank
Joe,
you.
anything else? All right, I'm going to defer to John.
Much. Spring's coming, tulips are coming up.
Microphone, please.
Microphone.
Microphone. Sorry,
Long day.
I get yelled at.
Yeah, so spring's here. Tulips are coming up. Pretty big. Nice job for Kevin I saw the guys getting the flags up. It looks real nice. It really spruces up the town. Looks great. One of the things we might want to think about, and I don't know if it would come under the building fund, but the wind that comes across here, that next winter we're gonna have real big problems with snow drifts. Just working out there and seeing how high the snow drift and watching it come across the road and filling in the parking lot out here. I didn't know if maybe we might want to look into planting on the other side of the street, talking to Jay Jill about maybe planting some trees, some evergreen or something that grows fast that would block the wind, because, you know, it's good.
Don't they put a snow fence up?
No,
I thought in years past they did.
no. And I think, Tim, you guys came up here, you saw, it's brutal out there. It blew all the insulation out of the attic and all everything. It was so bad. So yeah, if they put some trees up there, you know, it takes a few years to grow, but at least we get started on it and block the wind naturally. That's it.
All right. Turn the page. Oh, look at that. Town administrators report.
All right, I'll try to be quick. I just wanted to make a brief announcement. At a recent meeting of the Selectmen, I stated that we had not received a request to give the ball field back to the Parks Commission, and I spoke in error. And in fact, I did receive an email from Bob Hardy on March 10th asking if the Selectmen were willing to transfer the field back to the Parks Commission, to which I replied to Bob that I would ask the Selectmen. I do apologize for the error and wanted to let everyone know that it wasn't deliberate. I just forgot. If you remember, I was heading out on vacation, and when I came back, it completely slipped my mind. So under action items, the original contract for Tony with Tony Estee was through March. He agreed to extend the contract to a date uncertain, most likely through April 30th. And he didn't feel like he really needed to have a contract, but he did draw one up in case the board felt like they wanted to have one. It's a new agreement that allows for proration of any partial month of service. So if you feel like you want to sign that, it's in, should be in your signing documents.
Any discussion on that or no?
We have a contract with them, certain amount of hours and what have you, and this is just to prorate it for the amount of time he actually works. We got another guy coming in, you know,
Well, we don't know when this new person's gonna start. So, I don't know.
May 1st at the latest, and it might be earlier, part-time anyway.
All right. I can't find my sign now.
So it's really up to you, your comfort level. Tony felt very comfortable that, you understand that he's working for the town and would prorate on however many more weeks he gave. But so, all right, do you want to sign the contract or do you want to just, so it's in front of you? Somebody's got it.
Somewhere.
Did I sign it?
Anyone? It's called
No, there's,
agreement. It's agreement. It says agreement on top.
there's,
I didn't see it.
I didn't see it
yeah,
either.
there's an appointment.
Have it.
Next item, we've already discussed the internal investigation training. Updated expansion of the selectmen's policy on tables, chairs, and benches on Main Street sidewalks. I changed the temporary authorization with new dates of 4/8/21 to 12/31/31. Didn't know if that's something you want to take a look at and talk about next week, or if you're comfortable signing now. And along with that was the temporary outdoor seating application with the new dates. That doesn't require your signature. It's just goes along with it. We got an updated quote for air conditioning units upstairs in Town Hall. You approved the quote 2 years ago, but the project was delayed due to COVID. 2 air conditioning units will be installed on the back wall on either side of the stage, about 1 foot from the ceiling. The work will be scheduled for late April. The contract, you should have the contract. I did want to point out that they had also provided in the prior contract an air conditioner in the back room that Catherine's in. I did talk to Catherine about whether she thought that needed to be air conditioned. She didn't feel like it needed to be, that she's not there enough, and when she is, she doesn't need it. So the contract you have in front of you is just for the 2, their air conditioners upstairs on either side of the.
What was the difference in the price for that room up there? Because Catherine, in the event that Catherine's not with us and we have another health officer that uses that room, then are we going to raise and appropriate other monies and be 10 years before we get an air conditioning in that room?
And I thought you would ask that. I thought you would ask that question.
I fought 10 years for the air conditioning upstairs.
So,
You have the contract here?
We don't see the contract here, do you?
seriously?
Seriously, I don't have it.
Yeah, and Tim,
Didn't
did you
sign
have
now,
stuff
or
we were
is it-
supposed to sign in there? Okay,
Sign now.
okay.
Okay, so. You don't have it, right?
Nope.
Just the 2.
Table policy one, because I didn't. Tables and chair
Okay,
policy.
I sent you all.
Oh, that
emails,
was
all
in
that
there,
stuff. Yeah,
but do you need it signed?
and that wasn't in there either?
No.
Okay.
Was the expansions on tables and chairs and stuff?
Okay, I've got a copy, but it just didn't make it over from the other. Price is about, $100 more.
You know, if we ever meet in that back office, you're gonna want air conditioning.
Where are they putting the condenser for that?
It's going, outside,
Whether she turns it
Outside,
on or not is a different thing.
in the alley, on the back of the building.
Oh, on the wall?
Yeah.
No, she won't, but that's
They'll turn it
okay.
on in
It's
10 years.
there.
Turn it on in 10 years and
If we have a non-pub conference in back there,
So, okay, so you have the one up, I said two, it's actually for the one that just has the two air conditioners with the wireless thermostats.
Yep.
That total is 16,000, and the one that you have, which includes the air, Catherine's office, is another $2,000.
No.
we're just gonna sign this one, I guess.
Okay.
I see head shaking, so. And Tim's is going,
no, his is going.
no, his is going, yes, they're saying no.
So you're signing one for the air conditioner in the back room too.
Yes, but we don't have the tables and chair one.
I'm gonna get that for you, Ray.
Okay.
Oh, wait a minute. My understanding was this did not include the back room.
That's
Yes.
correct.
Didn't you just say that it does?
The one I have here does not. The one you have includes the back room. It says, who's got it? It says right on the
Right here.
back office.
Oh, I thought you said this one does not have it,
So she said it's 2,000 more.
But which one do you want?
the one without it.
Oh, okay. Well, I have that one. I thought you said you wanted the one with
I
the,
wanted it. So.
I'm
I don't,
confused.
I think we should, but John doesn't, and
I'm
Joe
a
doesn't
no.
for
I'm a no.
$2,000 more.
$2,800.
No, 2,000.
$2,800. She just got done saying.
First it was 800, then it was 2,000. Now it's 2,800.
Carry those together.
So this is 16,000.
Yeah.
That one over there is 18. What's that one?
18.8?
8.
2,800, yeah.
Right.
I think is ridiculous. I'm still not totally in favor.
Don't sign that one then.
Yeah, I signed it.
This
We-
is the one without.
We did encumber 18,200
Yeah,
for it.
I know.
I'll have,
It's not that
Two of them said-
if we were going back, well, no, I voted against
You know-
it then, but
the whole heating system in the building is whacked. In 10 years, we might be putting a whole new heating system in there that has HVAC in it.
Well, we've been waiting for almost at least 10 years for this air conditioning upstairs. Those employees, well, at least one we know of, two.
does get hot in the front of that upstairs
Sure does.
in the summer,
Mhm.
in the
I think
afternoon.
of the heat bears, just the sun just beats down on that whole.
Now we'll get our air conditionings back down to the seniors downstairs.
I'm not
They
going back
borrowed.
down those stairs ever again.
You always end up at the bottom though.
The one signed. This is the, which includes the updated guidance.
You want that, Joe, just so you prove
Give
it?
it back to Jeannie.
Make sure you
Okay.
void.
Is that correct, John? You're signing the proper one?
All right,
On this, it says exterior conduit color is white on the
No.
brick wall.
it gives you a choice of colors. I think there's something that says white, gray, or you could color the white, whatever color you want.
Yeah, it should blend in as close as possible to the bricks.
Says a white conduit can be painted
Sky
to
blue
match the
pink.
building. There's brown, gray, ivory, white.
Yeah, something that,
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I attended the broadband meeting. Atlantic Broadband, because we received a notice. Notice that they're gonna renew in December 31, 2023. Did you all get that? I sent you in an email. So I'm sending a letter back to Atlantic Broadband, letting them know that we're going to be initiating the process to ascertain the cable-related needs and interests of our community. We do that through this press release that I provided you. So I just want to make sure you're good with that.
Yes.
And
Just a little.
and interestingly enough, if you read the press release, you'll see that federal law does not allow a community to review or regulate the following subject matters when considering the renewal of cable TV franchise agreement. You can't, the following subject matters are not up for discussion. That's broadcast and channel programming, fees charged for services, internet services, or telephone services. The focus of this renewal process will be on video programming, quality, reliability, availability, customer service, and local access channels. So I did meet with the other towns who are looking at this, and not sure that, based on what I heard, that it's something they were talking about hiring Donahue, Tucker, and Ciandella to represent us, looking at probably about $4,000 per community. But after the meeting and talking with some other members, it doesn't seem to me like it's something that we should be spending money on, because it seems to all be going away here soon anyway, that with other competitors coming in. And I'll attend one more meeting and then report back to you, but that's kind of the feeling coming out of that meeting.
Joe?
I was the town representative at the last discussions about the cable TV franchise. And it seems like this one is just a minor continuation of that one. The last time we weren't actually covered under the franchise agreement, so we had to like get in on the good graces of the other members of the consortium who took us on. We actually realized a significant amount of money toward our infrastructure at town hall, whether it was, I think we used it for cabling or fiber, something like that. That was part of this as
Right.
well. So it's we realized more than we put into it.
That happened with a couple other communities too, my understanding was from that meeting.
Not in this particular consortium, though.
Well, I don't know who was in the other one. I just understood it happened in another community too,
Oh,
at least a couple
well,
more.
And
Yeah.
another thing, sure.
There's also a letter in there to the legislators. Did you get that? Did that get signed? Because I need to send that out tomorrow.
Yep, that was in there.
Okay. And parking area for the new police department will be built once landscaping is completed by milestone, most likely in May or June. The DPW director estimated that for 40, because you had asked last week about the spaces, 40 spaces will cost about $16,000. He estimates that 60 spaces will cost about $23,500. He did indicate that he's been working with the, I want to say, the Planet Honda project. There's extra soil, and Kevin was able to negotiate getting that hauled to DPW so we could use for our project. So he's always looking for ways to save money. So for the board, do you have a preference? 40, you already said to have them go ahead and build it last week, but we didn't really define the 40 spaces or 60 spaces.
I'll motion for 60 spaces.
Second, Scanlon.
Any other discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. Last Friday, Tim and I did a walkthrough of the building just to come up with our own checklist of things that needed to be addressed before we close out this project with our construction company. One of the items we noticed was in the mechanical room, there was a leak. And there was, somebody had put a bucket under it and it was full of water. There was water on the floor. Tim emptied out the bucket. I helped him by holding open the door. Just want you to know I was part of it.
Good job, Jeannie.
But it called into question who's looking at these things at the PD, who's responsible for that, because that had been there for a while. And the only way I think it got discovered was us doing this check. And so I did have a conversation with Kevin Duvall and didn't ask him to do it, but asked him who he thought, because we need to have somebody looking at this building at least once a week, going through and doing a check to see if we have leaks or whatever. And he said that he felt very comfortable having one of his personnel, one of his crew, and he's identified the person that he would like to have come through once a week, like on Friday morning, and just go through the building and check to see if everything's okay. So I just wanted to run that by you and see if you were okay with that. Once again, he steps up. So you're good with that? Okay. You saw my FYIs. Don't need to go through that unless anyone has a question. A couple things. Wanted to let you know that the Memorial Day flags that I talked to you about, the 547 flags, Officer Murray made a request of the union to purchase those flags and they agreed.
Thank you.
So the union has stepped up, the police union.
Very nice.
Also wanted to let you know that Officer Murray, there is a contest that is being put out by the Injury Prevention Center. It was being promoted by the Department of Safety's Commissioner Quinn, and it's a contest for students to create a video PSA contest for safe driving. This is to create a video of why it's not a good idea to text and drive. And she's already got a couple students signed up to enter the contest, which I thought was
Very nice.
a great initiative. And Sergeant Gilman and I are planning, I think I mentioned this before, to meet with the businesses on April 26th about parking in the downtown. I had a question about fundraising in town hall, if that's allowed by employees or outside groups to fundraise, to come in and solicit employees for fundraising activities. And I didn't know the answer to that. I don't believe we have a policy on it, so wanted to check with the board.
No raffles and stuff like that in the town hall. I know that a while back, 'cause everybody wanted to put one up.
A lot of people came into town hall, like the Rotary, and not to single them out, but that wanted to put it up, and, because Joyce was part of that. And it was allowed in the Winnie Trail, things like that, sold tickets to the dinner. We allowed that because it was benefited the town, things like that. But it's hard to delineate between one and the other. So then eventually we just said no, to put posters up and things like that. And, I mean, where do you say no to? Girl Scout cookies, Rotary golden tickets, it becomes, we just had to eventually just say no. to that,
Okay.
unless it was a town of something to do with the town event, Memorial Day Parade, Old Home Day, things like that.
But if it were for an outside organization that was not affiliated with the town, that would be a no.
That's correct.
Because where do you put a stop to that? I mean, then you would always have people come in and soliciting town employees to Special Olympics, Make-A-Wish, any and all people down. I got a friend who has a friend that, and
So,
it became incumbent to
okay,
them.
so maybe I should draft up a policy that you can sign off on and,
That
And
sounds
it's
like
hard to put a line in,
that sounds like an excellent idea.
yeah, I mean, some type of a policy to do that. We didn't know where to draw the line eventually because it was kind of hard. I mean, if an employee came in and we, as a selectman came in and say, hey, my son's got a baseball, I'd gladly buy a ticket, but for an outside agency coming in and putting a poster up and selling tickets and things like that, and
Okay,
it's advertising.
so this is a specific employee who, let's say, is affiliated with an organization that's fundraising for something. If I hear you correctly, that would be allowed?
We didn't allow anybody doing anything unless it was like
'Cause-
home day or, 150.
We allowed
The taste of the trails.
So we allowed employees, children, if they were in school, let's say Scott's son was baseball and they had a fundraiser and he was next to me and say, hey, I got a fundraiser for my son. That would be allowed. But if there was nobody associated with Rotary in the town hall, and they wanted to come in and put a poster up to sell golden tickets, that would not be allowed. If there was nobody in town hall associated with the Winnipesaukee Trail, and they wanted to sell tickets to their auction, that wouldn't be allowed. Or the Special Olympics torch run or something. I'm just trying to make these examples. I'm not privy to one or the other. I'm just trying to name some, and I'm very tired right now. But so I'm just trying to make these examples, okay?
Yep.
Or if Kim Souls wanted to do Pat Constantino Vacation Fund or something like that, that would not be allowed. Or a massage, that would not be allowed.
Okay.
So you kind of get the gist now. But we've allowed in the past, if, children of employees, even here, I've come in here in the PD and people said, hey, my son is, football, whatever. And I said, yeah, okay, I'll take
To
it.
the other employees or to the general public that frequent?
Just to other employees,
Yeah, amongst
not
themselves.
to the general public.
Yeah.
No,
So we don't have like cans
Just to-
lined up on the counter for
Correct.
There's not
SPCA and live and let
There's not a
live.
box of candy bars sitting at the front counter.
correct.
But if they want to their own fellow employees.
Yes.
Okay. I think I got it. I'll draft something
Yeah,
out for you to
your
take a look
point, I
at.
mean,
Yeah.
to each
Fellow,
other,
to fellow
right, to
employees.
each other.
So the last item that I have for you is MRI has come back. They have 4 finalists for the position of police chief. They are, one candidate is female, one candidate is chief of police, 2 candidates are lieutenants, 2 candidates are from New Hampshire, 1 from Massachusetts, and 1 from Florida.
Well,
And the question that was asked of me is, does the board want MRI to facilitate the interviews of these candidates? I said I would ask, but I thought that the board was ready to move forward with interviewing the 4 candidates. So at this point, we have 4. and we're ready to move forward on interviewing these candidates. So I'd like to get that process started sooner than later. I think that we probably want to have at least some standard questions that are consistent, so across all candidates. And then, of course, depending on, you're going to veer off a little bit here and there, depending on, where the answers take you, but at least have those standard questions. And I haven't seen anything from anyone about,
Thought we were supposed to give it to you in non-public tonight, because I have mine,
okay,
the categories.
Yep.
But in the categories, I have names.
okay. So maybe, so we don't delay a little bit, I mean, do we want to maybe, because I don't know, what time is it? If you want to go back in a non-public, or if you want to send me those, and then when we come back next week, we can talk about the questions, and then I'd like to start setting up the interviews.
I'll email them tonight for you if
Okay.
you want, my names.
And I already told you what I thought.
You did.
I was in Jeannie's office and we discussed that in passing.
Did Jeannie pick one?
I gave her, well, kinda. I gave her some guidelines and I don't think we need to overthink this. We get some community leaders, wham bam, and move on with the process.
I'd like to have something solidified by the next board meeting so we can move on. I don't want to,
But why are we overthinking it then? I mean, if you've got 4 candidates, then, you did pick the same committee that you had going with the
so if you want, I can just make a recommendation to you in an email about who I think and see what you say.
Mhm.
And then move from there. I mean, we could do it the same way we did it last time, which is we could have a committee, boil it down if you want, and then bring that to the board, but maybe the board wants to meet all 4.
I had a suggestion of who, but
It's a pretty important position, so.
it's real important, yeah. I'd like to have it included.
top 2. Top 2? To interview the top 2?
Or whoever's going to be doing the interview
Oh,
from
the
the outside.
suggestion to do,
I have
so-
an individual that I think would be very important to be on the,
Okay, so you'll send me that information then in the next, by tomorrow? Anybody?
I'll set.
Okay,
I wrote tonight.
okay, thank you.
Yep. Anything else? Then we have 2 people on. There's 1 you. Oh, who's user?
I don't know if anyone has any questions for me, but I'm done.
All right. Is there anyone out there in internet land that would like to say anything? Hearing none.
So next week, I will be here. The following week, I may be online.
Okay.
Not present, though.
All right, Joe,
Motion to adjourn.
anyone else?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Have a nice